My name's Galen Weld, and I'm very excited to present to you today our work examining values in online communities. Recently, there's been lots of research published, much of it here at ICWSM, on how to improve the state of online communities. But much existing research on online communities focuses on harms like abuse, harassment, and misinformation, and these topics have gotten quite a bit of attention not only from the research community, but also from our broader society. However, the ideal online community isn't just one where there isn't abuse, harassment, or misinformation. So what makes online communities better? It seems quite likely that, for example, identity-focused communities like those for LGBTQ groups might have very different values than, say, communities where people just post memes. But we don't know because community members' values for their own communities are not well understood. In this work, we conduct the largest to-date survey of Redditors' values for their communities to understand both how values vary between and within communities. We collect 6,000 responses from almost 3,000 Redditors, covering more than 2,000 unique communities, and we make these responses publicly available. On our survey, we ask about 9 different values taken from some of our previous work on the topic. The quality of content in the community, the variety of content, the trustworthiness of content and people, the engagement between community members, the safety of the community, the inclusion of community members, the diversity of the community membership, the size of the community, and the democracy in the community. And I'm presenting these here in the order that we found was their average importance. In general, we found that subreddits rate quality as their most important value, while democracy as their least important. But most importantly, we find that there's lots of variety in the reported values both between and within communities. As a result, there isn't any one-size-fits-all approach to making online communities better. What's good for one community might not be good for another. So let's look at how these values vary, starting with how they vary between communities of different types. We average across all of the responses we receive for each subreddit and categorize that subreddit's topic. Examining trust, we find that news communities consider trust more important, while trust is less important to meme communities. Identity-focused communities, like those for LGBTQ groups, rank safety as more important than other communities do. Meme communities place special emphasis on the variety of content, which is less important for identity communities. On the other hand, identity communities place greater emphasis on inclusion relative to other communities. And of course, values also vary dramatically amongst members of the same community. Here, we plot the amount of disagreement over safety in light blue relative to the amount of disagreement over other grayed out values. And we find that there is relative consensus on how safety should change. For the most part, community members all agree that safety should be improved. Where folks disagree, however, is over how important safety is. There's more disagreement over the importance of safety than just about every other value. And the current state of safety is even more disagreed over. There's almost twice as much disagreement over how safe communities currently are than any other value. And a likely explanation for this is that people who have had experiences online that made them feel unsafe likely have a far poorer perception of how safe their communities are than folks who have not had those experiences. And while these people may be in the minority, their experiences and values are very important, and we need to be careful to protect them. We also look at how community moderators' values differ from those of non-moderator community members. Again, examining safety, while we don't find that there's any perceived difference in the current state of safety between moderators and non-moderator community members, we do find that moderators more strongly want to improve safety and think that safety is more important than other community members. As a moderator of some subreddits myself, I was also interested in how moderators' preferences for democracy differ from those of other community members. And we find that moderators feel their communities are currently less democratic, want less democracy, and that democracy is less important than non-moderators, which suggests that community members want to be more involved in governance than those who are currently in power want them to be. So what's the bottom line? Our survey showed that community values are extraordinarily varied and that there's no one-size-fits-all set of community values. Again, what's good for one community might not be good for another. That being said, we also show that there is significant underlying structure to how values vary. Using 27 prediction tasks, we show in the paper that values can be predicted using automatically quantifiable features, but this is challenging to do, and there's certainly room for improvement. And we make our anonymized survey responses public so that we can all continue studying this important topic. There's lots more in our paper, so please take a look, and thank you so much for your time.